Good evening, Magic players and card collectors of all kinds. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here tonight to do a discussion on a topic that I found very interesting that's been going around at my LGS. And while I do that, I got some Wilds of Eldraine for you guys. I do love Wilds of Eldraine. It is probably one of my favorite sets since I came back to Magic. And we're going to see what I pull. Tonight's topic is discussions before game. Pre-game discussions, that is. I just want to make sure that my face isn't on the camera because I don't want to be seen. There we go. And, yeah, pre-game discussions. Are they important? How to have them? Why they're important? Because in my opinion they are. Spoiler. And, what the downside is when it doesn't happen properly. So, we'll open up our first pack and we'll get into it. You can see they're kind of already pulled on a little bit. They were packed a little tight, I think, into the spot at my LGS, but they are still amazing. Shout out to One Up Games for having such great product, and here we go. We got a Royal and a Young Hero token. Nice. We got ourselves a Swamp. Curiosity. I've seen that before. It's a good card. Can't hurt. Ooh, Mosswood Dread Knight. Dread Whispers, you draw a card and you lose a life. Trample, when Mosswood Dread Knight dies, you may cast it from your graveyard as an adventure until the end of your next turn. Ooh, nice. That's pretty cool. I like the art. We got an Elf Warrior. Red Tooth Vanguard has Trample 3/1. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2, and if you do, return this from your graveyard to your hand. Cool. Could be going in my Elf deck. Boundary Lands Ranger. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Not bad. Human Noble Lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, create a Cursed Roll token attached to it. Enchanted creature is a 1/1. Why in the world would you want to do that? That is a miss. Warehouse Tabby we've seen before. We've seen Savior of the Sleeping before. It's not bad, but it's not great. Ooh, Torch the Tower. Bargain. You may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast this. Deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the spell was bargained for, instead deals 3 damage to one permanent and you scry one. If a permanent dealt damage by this would die this turn, exile it instead. For 1, that's pretty good. I have a burn deck that I'm eventually going to be building, which I'm excited about. And that's probably going to go in there. We got another Ophi. When it enters battlefield, if it was bargained, exile target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. That's not bad. Non-Crescendo. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies this turn, create a black rat creature token with this creature can't block. That's not bad. Conceited Witch. Price of Beauty. Create a wicked roll attached to the thing. Menace. It's a Warlock. Water Wings is a good spell. Rowan's Grim Search. If this spell was bargained for, look at the top 4 cards of your library, then put 2 of them back on top of your library in any order and the rest into your graveyard. You draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. Mocking Sprite. Fairy Rogue. Instant and sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast. That's not bad. Alright, we got 4 packs left, but hopefully that was all on camera. I really should stand up and check while I'm doing this. I think that was all on camera. Alright. So, pre-game discussions. Basically, Commander is a 4-player game, and it is really kind of crappy when one person shows up with a deck that's way powerful compared to the rest. Definitely leads to some feel bads. Um, and I feel that um, just saying what power level you think your deck is really not a useful mechanic. The professor had a great talk with another guy. I can't remember what his name is. I apologize for that. But they had a great talk. And if I can find the video, I'll link it in this one about how to have the pregame discussion and why to have it. And I don't want to tread too much on their material, so I just wanted to briefly open up with the idea that I agree with them 100% that you need to have a pregame discussion, and that it needs to go beyond putting a number to a deck. Because putting numbers to decks really doesn't work anymore, especially with precons being what they are nowadays. Excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. Most precons nowadays easily come in at like a 7. 6, 7, I would say. They're definitely not 5s. Not in terms of what a 5 used to be. Get a nice human token. Mountain. Ooh, lands you control are every basic type in addition to their other types. Nice. That is awesome. I definitely have a couple of decks that can go in. Lich Knight's Conquest. Sacrifice any number of artifacts, enchantments, and or tokens. Return that many creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Ooh, that's really cool. We got a second Sir Armit the Redeemer. I got this in Precon, but it's nice to see that we got it here. I can add this to my elf deck, possibly. Probably not. But I'm sure there's other decks that I'll eventually put that into. It's a great legendary deceive pull. Gadwig's First Duel. Create a Curse Roll token attached to up to one target creature. Scry 2. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell with mana value 3 or less this turn, copy that spell. Interesting saga. Glass Casket. Enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with mana value 3 or less until it leaves the battlefield. Fairy Advisor. Flying. When it enters the battlefield, create a Royal Roll token attached to one creature you control. Another target creature you control. Ooh, Crystal Grotto. Enters the battlefield, scry 1. Add one of any color if you pay 1, or it taps just for 1. That's a good land. This second pack is hot. Flick a coin, deals 1 damage to any target, and you create a treasure token. Draw a card, too. For 3, that's decent. A Titanic Growth is a nice card to see. I like the art on that one. Candy Trail is a good one. Cut In. Cut In deals 4 damage to target creature. You create a Young Roll token attached to one target creature you control. Sugar Rush. Target creature gets +3/+0 until end of turn. Draw a card. Fairy Wizard. Oberai as a tenants. Target creature gets -4/-0 until end of turn, and it has flying. That costs a lot, though. Probably wouldn't use that. Fairy Assassin. Stingblade Assassin. Flash flying. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. Not bad. So what would I like to see in a pregame discussion? For me personally, it should first off and foremost, everybody should be able to like share their commanders with each other, and everybody should be able to pass around their commanders and look at each other's commanders and see what they're about, rather than just leaving them on the side in the command zone and expecting people to recognize it from the artwork. Because people like me have no idea what half the creatures are. Besides that, I definitely think that if there's any combos in the deck, I definitely think you should be sharing that. Not necessarily what they are, but the existence of them, and whether you can go infinite or not is kind of an important thing to share. It really kind of sucks when you're in the middle of a game and everybody's having fun and then suddenly somebody goes infinite and you didn't know they could. And while many people might recognize some of the cards that are going into an infinite combo ahead of time, I won't. So it doesn't hurt to like share that you can go infinite and give a person heads up so they are at least paying more attention to what you're playing for that combo if it comes up. Now you can say that's really not fair to the combo player, and in a certain way I could say that's true, but um, I think there's more hurt feelings by people who just go infinite and don't like there's based on what I've seen on online gameplay, going infinite is really frowned upon by a lot of people, especially in casual games. So if you can go infinite, I think you should be sharing that. Pack number 3. Coming through here. That one didn't rhyme. You can tell I'm sick. Human. Plains. Evolving Wilds. Ooh, shiny Evolving Wilds. Cool. I don't know which deck I will replace my original Evolving Wilds in, but that is cool. Rest in peace. When it enters the battlefield, exile all graveyards. If a card or a token would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Cool. I like this. Restless Bibiac. It gives you a white or a red. You can pay 1 and a white and a red to make it an ox until end of turn. And whenever it attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Interesting. Ooh, legendary creature. Johan, Apprentice Sorcerer. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. Once each turn, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from the top of your library. Cool. I don't know whether I want to put that in my Spellslinger deck or into the new deck I'm building right now. Probably in the new deck. My next deck's going to be a red-blue deck. I'll show you the commander after we finish this pack. I'm pretty excited for it. Corvold and the Noble Thief. Thief. Create a treasure token twice. Exile the top 3 cards of target opponent's library. You may play those cards this turn. Cool. Ashiok's Reaper. Whatever enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Not bad. Merfolk Coralsmith. It's +1/-1 until end of turn. When it dies, scry 2. That's a miss for me. Besotted Knight. Create a royal roll attached to a creature, and then you have to pay 4 for a 3/3. No thank you. Leaping Ambush. Target creature gets +1/+3 and gains reach until end of turn. Untap it. That's pretty good. Edgewall Pack. We've seen that one before. Ferocious Werefox. Elf Fox Warrior. Create a monster roll attached to a target creature you control for 2. And then this is a 4/3 with trample. I might make the cut of my elf deck. Vantress Transmuter. Human Wizard. Tap target creature, create a cursed roll, token attached to it. And then for 4, you get a 3/4. Maybe. Rat Out. Up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. You create a black rat token. Okay. Ice Out. This spell costs 1 less to cast if it was bargained for. Counter target spell. Cool. So, what else do I want to see in a pregame discussion? I'll get out my commander for my next deck while I talk about that. I am looking to have, most importantly in a pregame discussion, I think it is really valuable to talk about what type of game you want to have. In most cases, for myself, I'm speaking only for me, I would prefer to have a casual game. I'm not really interested in playing competitive very much. I have one combo deck that I rarely ever use. I have one really stacked mill deck that I will use sometimes, but only like when I know that the pot is going to be fighting with strong decks. Um, and beyond that, most of my other decks are built for a casual game. I really don't look to kick people's butts per se, and I just really want to be able to play my game and have fun. Um, so for me, it's really important to discuss what type of game we're playing, when we expect to win, that kind of stuff. Because, for example, tonight I was at F&M and was having a pretty good time, but one player definitely kind of set all of us up expecting that we were going to be playing sort of a pre-con level game per se, because another player at the table had a pre-con. Third player was testing a deck. I played a mostly pre-con deck. I think I have maybe just switched out 20, 25 cards in that deck, and the rest are all the same. Anyways, that player played Edgar Markov, and it definitely was not fun at the end of the game, to say the least. But this is why we should have these discussions, and why everybody needs to be open and honest about what they want to do and what they're planning to play. And to be fair to that player, the player was down pretty significantly in their life total, but that was irrelevant come the end of the game when they're exiling a third of our board. This is going to be my new commander for the next deck I want to build. Nira the Wild Mage. I got this, as you probably know by now, for one of my Dollarama Draws of Destiny. I was really excited to pull her, and I'm excited to build a deck around her. So she is going to be my next commander, and I've got to save up money for that. I'm also planning to hopefully get the rabbit precon. I wanted to get the rabbit and the squirrel, but I'm not going to be able to afford both, so... 2 packs left. Let's see what we get. Royal and Young Hero, Forest, Savior of the Sleeping, Dark Tutelage. I've pulled that card a few times. I like the artwork on that one. Ooh, a Likeness Looter. Flying, draw a card and discard a card. Becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X. Except it has flying in this ability. It's not bad. 3 Bowls of Porridge is an okay card. Ice Rot Sentry. Vigilance. When it attacks, you may play 1 in a blue. If you do, tap target creature an opponent controls. Whenever you tap an untapped creature an opponent controls, this thing gets 2/2/1 until end of turn. So it becomes a 4/4. That's not bad. Immodane's Recruiter. Create 2 night creature tokens with Vigilance. And when it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+0 and haste. Prophetic Prism. There's a score. That is always a nice one to see. Unassuming Sage. Human Peasant Wizard. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, create a Sorcerer Roll token attached to it. It gets +1/+1 and has whenever this creature attacks, scry 1. That's not bad. Choose 2, Return from the Wilds. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Create a 1/1 white human creature token, create a food token. Nice. I like that one. I like Witch's Mark too. That's a good one. Territorial Witch Stalker is not bad. Toadstool Admirer. An Oofy with Ward 2. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. Feed the Cauldron. Destroy target creature with mana value 3 or less. If it's your turn, create a food token. Aquatic Alchemist. Put target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, this thing gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Not bad. Down to our final pack. Rub it for some luck. Give it a smack. See what we get in this last pack. There we go. We got our rhymes back. Another human. Lots of humans. Forest. Garruk's Uprising. Nice full art. Ooh, shiny full art. I didn't realize it was shiny. Cool. Stab Wound. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2 at the beginning of upkeep. Enchanted creature's controller. At the beginning of upkeep, enchanted creature's controller. That player loses 2 life. Ooh, nice. And it's cool art. I like that one. Garruk's Uprising goes over. This goes over. Planeswalker! Ashiok, Wicked Manipulator. I think this just made our night, ladies and gentlemen. If you would pay life while your library has at least that many cards in it, exile that many cards from your top of your library instead. Pay 1. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, exile one of them, put the other into your hand. -2, create 2 1/1 black nightmare creature tokens with at the beginning of combat on your turn. If a card is put into exile this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. -7, target player exiles the top X cards of their library, where X is the total mana value of cards you own in exile. Oh, shit. I have no idea what deck I'm going to put that in. Because I was originally thinking, hey, Planeswalker for my zombie deck, but that is not going to fit my zombie deck at all. Or my sacrifice deck that I just built. So, I'm not sure which one I want to play. If you would pay life while your library has at least that many cards in it, exile that many cards. That is really cool. That is definitely the pull of the night. Spellscoring Coven. Return target spell to its owner's hand. Flying. When Spellcore discover enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. For 4, that's decent. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token. Foods you control have tap, add green. Wow. Pay 7, sacrifice this thing. Creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of foods you control. Wow. That is really cool. 2 legendaries in the same pack! No freaking way! Charade of the Numbing Depths. Enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Whenever you tap 1 or more untapped creatures an opponent controls, draw a card. It's not a great legendary, but still, 2 legendaries in one pack. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. This thing gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each enchantment you control. Whoa. That's not bad. That's not bad. If it had trample, it would be better, but that's not bad. Okay, Johann Stopgap isn't bad either. It costs 2 less if you bargain for it, and you get to return a target non-land permanent to its owner's hand and draw a card. Beanstalk Worm. You may pay additional land this turn. It's a 5/4 with reach. Grabby Giant. Create a treasure token, reach, sacrifice an artifact or land to draw a card. Another Leaping Ambush. A Spell Stutter, that's a nice one. If you have a decent amount of fairies in your deck. Candy Grapple. Target creature is -3/-3 until end of turn. If this spell was bargained for, that creature gets -5/-5 instead. And a Return Triumphant. Return target creature with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Create a young hero role token attached to it. Cool. That's not bad. Alright, we've had some pretty decent polls tonight. Definitely the poll of the night is this. I'm thinking that that's probably worth some serious cash, to be honest. But we got some really good cards, too. I'm pretty stoked, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. For me, I hope you've also enjoyed my discussion on pregame play, and if you have any comments or anything to add to that discussion, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Wow, comments in the same sentence twice. You can tell that I'm not feeling well. Anyways, that's it for me. Much love to you all. From me to you, take care, and